All right, Kirby, you always mention me saying Alex is traveling again, this and that. But today, Kirby is in Amishville up in Pennsylvania. What I want to bring up in this video, though, is we both hear, especially from people we know, that people think that we do not enjoy our money. From my understanding of this trip that you're taking right now, you're just going up there to visit a friend. But the ability to just make that quick decision and just go travel. That is what we try to point out so much in our videos and out and about talking to people, that it's that freedom that you have to just make a decision and go travel somewhere, go do something. You don't have to save. You want to do something, next week, you don't have to worry about how many pennies you got to pinch together. Like, just go and do it. And so that is where I always say that money buys freedom and it buys your time. And it's that we try to use our money for, is to purchase life itself, purchase that freedom. So I don't know if you can go into, maybe, was this also your same thought process when you were starting to invest? Was that something you wanted to obtain as well? I mean, it was something that I wanted to obtain. That was something I always thought of, where I can go and do whatever I want without having to stress about it. I want to purchase my freedom.
For me, it was my only goal, and I'm being 100% honest. I don't, it might sound cheeky, it might sound soft or whatever. I only had two goals, really. I said my only goal, but I had two goals. My goal, my number one goal was to never have to go back to the city of Detroit with my tail between my legs because I failed. That was my personal goal. My other personal goal was to ensure that when my wife reached the age of 38, that she could retire and not have to work again. That was my only goal. I didn't have a goal to say, "Oh, I'll never work again" or anything like that. I wanted her to have the ability to never work again. Now, if she wanted to, go and get a job or whatever, it's because she wanted to, not because she had to. And that was my true only goal. And then we reached that pretty early on, when she was maybe in her 30s, but I wanted her to, continue her military career, get to retirement age, and then, of course, get the health benefits from it and things like that. But I didn't want her to have to say, "Oh, like most people in the military, I retire, now I got to get another job to afford my lifestyle." So that was really where it was at. So once I knew we hit those, marker points, then it was just about having the freedom to do whatever I wanted when I wanted. Not to do whatever I wanted any damn time, just to go out there and flex for Instagram, social media, and things like that. It was to do what I wanted when I wanted. Me, everybody always say the words, "Oh, when I retire, I want to travel." And Alex, when I first met you, that was your goal. I wanted to travel. You wanted to travel when you retire. I just said, "Why don't you just travel now? Just get it out the way." Because eventually you're gonna realize, like me and my wife realized, traveling just traveling. I mean, it's great to see other places, but the headache you got to go through to travel is like, whatever. And then you do it so often, it's not like a big thing. Like my son is only 10 years old, and he's been to places that most people would never see in their lifetime. And now for him, traveling is a nuisance rather than, "Oh yeah, let's just go travel." I mean, I literally asked him maybe 2 weeks ago. I said, "Hey, do you want to go to fly up to Virginia to go see your friend that you had in the Netherlands?" Because he was in Virginia. And then my son was like, "Wait, we got to fly?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Well, they'll be down here in a couple months. Let's just wait for them to come down here. I don't feel like flying." That's at 10 years old. But once you do it, it's like, oh, whatever. Social media and everything else make it look great. But having the ability and freedom, like, and for instance, for this trip here, uh, a former buddy that, I've been in combat with for years, his wife called me up and was like, "Hey, I want you to come up and surprise my husband because you haven't seen him in a long time, yada, yada, yada." That's all I needed. I was like, "Okay, trip book." That's all it took. I mean, I didn't come back to her and be like, oh, well, I got to see what my money looking like. Let me see if I can save up a couple paychecks to do it. It was just done. Having the ability to do something beneficial in other people's life is great. I mean, everybody always, they think that we are the Grinches of the world. I do. My first thing that I ever told you, you got to learn the word to say no. You have to pick and choose your battles. If you say yes to everything, you're going to, because we always talk about it. And I'm gonna come back to that point, but we always talk about it. No matter how much money you make, there is a place to spend every dollar that you make. No matter if you win millions in a lottery or whatever, we see lottery winners lose all the time. But we always talk about that to the aspect of live, have your cost of living low, so you can have an abundance of money, so you can be a blessing in somebody else's life when you choose to. You can't be a blessing in everybody's life, but when you choose to, you can have the ability to do it, or you can do what you want to do. Like me coming up here, I didn't stop nothing. I'm still here recording YouTube videos, still got the Discord class later, still doing other things on the real estate front, doing emails, but I can go pivot and be like, all right, I'm gonna come hang out with y'all. Y'all just, let me know y'all schedule. I'll come around when y'all available, and then I still do my thing. But the freedom to do that, most people to be like, oh man, I saved up for a year so me and my buddy can go hang out for 3 days. What? You ain't saving up for years to make sure your family have survivability for years to come, but you will save up just so you can go on a trip. It's insane. It's insane to me, but having the ability to do whatever you want, when you want, the ability, not to do it, but have the ability is the greatest thing on earth to me. I
Yeah.
mean, it wasn't sitting here like, oh, let me go max out some credit cards to make this happen. Oh, I'm so emotionally attached to what she want to do, surprise her husband, that I'm just going to sacrifice my life to do it. No, it was simply as somebody saying, hey, you want to go around the corner to the store right quick? Yeah, sure. All right, I'll be there. I know everybody don't have that ability, but everybody can have that ability to do that. Only thing they got to do is sacrifice the BS that they do in their everyday life to get in the situation that we're talking about right now.
And to me, it's like you say, it's having the ability and not having to be dependent on the say so of someone or something else. Like one thing that I remember is during that COVID period, people that wanted to fly or and travel, maybe to go see relatives or whatever it may be, they couldn't because their jobs would tell them, oh, you have to then quarantine. And then they couldn't risk leaving their job and having to quarantine for 2 weeks because they needed that money for those 2 weeks. So being in a situation like that in itself, I never wanted to be in a position where like I have to do something because something is forcing me to do this. And so I've always just like tried to strive for and achieve that ultimate goal of like true freedom and being truly financially independent. I think a lot of people say financial independence and they're still yet dependent on their job. And I don't think it's until you're not dependent on your job that you're actually financially free. So I see a lot of people get that mistaken, but that's how I view that. And but yeah, I just want to bring up this because I know you're traveling right now, and it was just off a whim. So
Right. And let's not get people confused here. We're not people that's sitting around saying, "Oh yeah, you should go invest so you can quit your job." We just want people to get to where work is optional. We want people to be in a position where if you don't agree with something, no matter if it's morally, no matter if it's religiously or whatever, that a company or organization doing, you don't have to sit there and do it just for the sake of, hey, I need a paycheck. We want you to have the ability to have options. We want you to have ability to be true to yourself. I mean, especially like people in the military, people, especially when COVID happened. Some people disagree with the COVID shot in general, but they had to take it just to stay at jobs. I know people who disagree with the COVID shot, but they needed to go find a job, and then jobs kept asking for a COVID shot. Then, all right, I gotta go get it because I gotta get a job. That is what we're talking about. Having the ability to truly be you. Not all right, well, this is me in private, but I gotta play this image in the public. Just so I can get along, so I can have a paycheck, so I can feed my family. If you do the things that's necessary now while you have your job, you do the things that's necessary now, it puts you in a position to make options. It puts you in a position to say, no, I'm not doing it. It puts you in a position to say, hey, I'm going to visit a friend just on a whim because I can. It puts you in a position to, go to Venezuela and Colombia and wherever the hell else Alex has been this year. It puts you in a position to do that because you've taken care of the necessities already. You already know that because I'm going on the next trip, oh, now I got to go save and make sure I can pay the light bill. It's not even a blimp on the radar for me to hop on a plane and go somewhere. Alex, when you travel, you ain't coming back like, oh, all right, now we got to buckle down so we can pay the mortgage this week.
No.
What kind of life is that? If you can't pay your bills, you shouldn't be traveling. I don't care what the event is. And when I say I don't care what the event is, I mean I don't care what the event is. If you can't afford to do it, you can't afford to do it. But people only look at the instant gratification of, all right, yeah, I did this. And then they come back and then next thing you know, oh man, can I borrow $100 so I can make sure my lights don't get cut off? It takes 3 months for your lights to get cut off. So that means you are sacrificing your light bill and your basic necessities of living just so you can say, oh, I went on vacation for a week or 3 days. Because most people ain't even got 3 days of vacation time, so they got to wrap it around a weekend or something to make it happen. What are you doing? Really, what are you doing?
With all that being said, guys, if you have any questions or comments, let us know down below. Don't forget to like this video, share, and we'll see you guys in the next one.